I see now that I was mistaken. How could great merciful Celarx allow such beasts to exist? How could Sigma stand their presence? Or our great Emperor fail to drive them back to the Chaos Wastes? No, I was a fool who trusted in the words of other fools. I hereby recant everything in my essay and condemn it as the greatest heresy. May the masters of this great college forgive me, and may Sigma have mercy on my soul.
Perhaps I'm a fool too, but I'd rather be an awakened fool than a sleeping genius, as is the case of the so-called masters of the College of Altdorf. I have found the original essay written by the late Coleman Smithers, much to the dismay of the witch hunters who have tried to burn it as heresy. But in the name of the all-knowing Verena, I shall find pieces of lost knowledge, as dangerous as they might be. And dangerous they are indeed. In all my searches as a scholar, perhaps the most valuable piece of writing I have found is a piece of the original stone tablet upon which the runes of the epic poem The Doom That Came to Kazar were written in ancient Khazalid. It took me years to translate it, but what I have found has shaken me to my core, and I am now doubtful of the existence of an all-loving God. For why, how could such a being allow these beasts to exist? The poem details that a hooded stranger with immense powers entered the grand and now lost city of Kazar with the offer of completing their impossible, to finish magnum opus of a tower. The only condition being that he had to be able to place a totem to his god on top of it. The folk of Kazar trusted well, and all of those who dwelt in Kazar gave him leave to work his spells, says the poem. And indeed the stranger kept his promise, and upon the peak of this gigantic tower was a single foul bell, and it rang 13 times, bringing ruin, rain, rot and rats to the city. Gigantic rats. From the essay by Mr. Coleman, I have gathered that the rat men call the stranger the Shaper, and mention that he is from an older race, an important clue in gathering the history of how to defeat these vermin. Before Mr. Coleman was burned at the stake, may more guide his soul, he rambled on about one horned rat. From what I have gathered, it is a god of sorts, or perhaps a uniquely powerful demon prince, worshipped by the rat men in disgusting ways. I must get closer to the vermin to get more information. Previously, while I was translating the stone tablet, I spent copious amounts of money to send a team to the dreaded city of Mordheim to gather wordstone, something that, according to Mr. Coleman, the ratmen crave desperately.
Ah, the sign of the rat. The 3 bars crossed, the cursed triangle. Know it well, for the Skaven can't go anywhere without marking it on the walls.
The Chaos Bargain is what those who deal with the Skaven call it. Yes, Skaven is what they call them. Perhaps giving them a proper name makes them less frightening, but I doubt that. Anyhow, it did not take too long for the damned symbol of the triangle to start appearing around my town, around my neighbourhood, and eventually, inside my study. Red eyes on dark corners, whispers in the night, rats of all sizes, until one of them showed itself, and the bargain was complete. I gave them the greenstone they so desired, and in exchange, they allowed me to live, provided me with information, and bought my silence. I lied. Originally, I connected the origins of the Skaven with the origins of the Beastmen proper, raw chaos mutations. As such, I looked through forbidden tomes and found the most likely culprit to create such an awful race. The sorcerer god Sinch. So could the horned rat be an aspect of him? Could the Shaper, so-called of an older race be the god himself, or perhaps a favourite servant of his. That is a sound hypothesis, but I needed to look elsewhere too, for the horned rat has aspects of plague and rot, something connected to the grandfather Nargol, the antithesis to Sinch. Well, with great sacrifice, I managed to get my hands on ancient elven tomes and spoke of creator beings called the Old Ones. It definitely fits the description of the Shaper, but they speak of Old Ones creating species with a purpose. The faraway lizard men of Lustria, for example, were apparently created with the sole purpose of fighting chaos. And do forgive me, but I see no reason for the Skaven to exist, aside from being used to fuel the nightmares of misbehaving children and, apparently, grown men, if my recent talks with professional Skaven hunters are to be believed. My stock of Wordstone has run out, and my coin pouches are dry as the desert of Araby. If I am to continue finding the origin and maybe weakness of the horned rat, I must do this quickly, or else I am afraid I will become just another statistic on the missing persons list. Every Chaos God has a major realm inside the immaterial plane, the other side of reality, so to speak. It is from there that their tendrils grow and spread like mould, quite literally in the case of the Plague Father. And I suspect that every deity that is believed by someone has a small presence inside this other side. If my hypothesis is to be believed, then the horned rat, too, has a small domain, burrow or lair within this realm, perhaps competing for territory amongst the Great Four. Maybe this is good news, for if it is indeed true, it means that Sigmar or Ulrich, mighty warrior gods, also have domains on this other side, and haven't abandoned us to our rat-infested fate after all. Wouldn't that be swell? The Chaos bargain has failed, and I must flee, or risk abduction by the enemy. They know I have no more Wordstone, and they somehow have discovered my attempts of tracking down ways of destroying their god. I watch every shadow, and haven't slept in days. I can feel them closing in. I can hear their paws scratching the floor of the attic. I have been bitten by a rat earlier this morning. Have they already delivered the killing blow? Perhaps, but rats are way too common in these parts, and have been increasing in population. Everywhere I look, I see them. Red, glowing eyes, high-pitched laughs, green blades. But yet they have not come for me. Why? Do they intend on driving me mad before they dispose of me? 'Tis too late. I am afraid I am already way too far gone to be any madder. I mustn't fail my task. Someone else must complete my work, or at least read it. With this book, I also have drawings of how the Skaven look, contacts to professional Skaven hunters, their damned symbols and ways of warding off their foul spellcraft. Oh, may Mor guide my soul peacefully down his realm. But I am afraid my soul no longer belongs to the god of the dead. It belongs to them. If you are reading this, then I am already dead, or more likely will never see the sun again, locked away deep beneath the earth to be used for disgusting experiments. I hope Sigmar guides your way, and good luck doing what I could not.
It is you, though, Dr. Blitzen, who must help me make my work known. We must convince all men of learning of this truth, though they will be greatly resistant to accept it. But as long as we call the Skaven a myth, they can prey on us unknown, unobserved and unchallenged, and who knows what dark purpose they grow closer to achieving with every passing day. Yours on this 20th day of Vorhexen, the year of our Lord Sigmar's Empire, 2510. Your ever-vigilant student, Doctor Felix Liebkpsen, Esquire, from Middenland.
On this channel, we are putting together narrative Total War cinematic battles and Warhammer lore videos. A special thank you goes to our Patreon supporters who help us in the making of more content. You can also join Patreon and earn extra perks while supporting the videos to come. Find the link in the description below. Make sure to subscribe, and thank you for watching. See you on the next one.